Hey everyone, I wanted to give you an update about our latest project, mapping neurotech approaches to AI development and alignment for the Foresight Institute. But first, I just wanted to continue a point I made in a recent presentation to Canadian government officials about democratizing intelligence capabilities. I'm reminded that in the past, people outside of government have called the Society Library's approach to truth-seeking overkill. But governments would not think so. And as a nonprofit, the Society Library stands to level the playing field of intelligence capabilities and reduce the intelligence asymmetry. We believe that citizens, activists, you name it, need to be able to make sense of complex issues, understanding the bird's eye view and traversing down into the depths and details of decades-old debates, if we want to. Not everyone's going to activate this capability. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have that capability at all. Not everyone goes to the library, but it doesn't mean libraries shouldn't exist. Okay, for those of you who don't know our work, one thing we do is we build civilization-scale deliberation graphs. These graphs map the arguments, evidence, data, and opinions from different points of view on complex policy issues, like this debate over 9 potential decisions over the fate of the last remaining nuclear power plant in California. In these graphs, we basically collect knowledge and we link it logically. These graphs used to be derived and built by hand, by extracting information from multimodal artifacts. And then we would steelman them, deduplicate them, fact-check them, label, describe them as much as possible. And this man-made graph is enormous, but now we're automating this work with AI. The goal is so we end up with the capability to press a button, and then every citizen, student, activist, and policymaker can access civilization-scale understanding, which would otherwise likely take thousands of research hours and study, like it used to take us. But I just want to be clear, these graphs are not our product. The product is a process of truth-seeking at the civilization scale, which has wide-ranging applications. We feel that to truly make sense of issues at that scale, you can't just adjudicate one fact at a time. But instead, it's important to maximally contextualize them by adjudicating whole debates at a time, and all the facts and opinions and evidence and reasoning that debates contain. Debate mapping is just one way to accommodate and visualize the complexity of that data. And once you have that data, sure, it can stay as a graph, but it can also be made into many practical things, like we have made city-level decision-making models, computationally drafted federal legislation, we've mapped the memetics of cultural spaces, we've created diversity of thought tools, interactive briefing documents, the list goes on. We've worked with many partners, and essentially you can render this data in many different ways depending on the use case. But most recently, we are working on applying our techniques towards scientific field mapping. We were asked to map neurotech approaches to AI alignment and development, which supports the continuation of our work automating our research and analysis methods by experimenting with AI agents. And we're working on a concept map of the fields, which is a very high-level thing, but we're also working on mapping crux questions in the field, including this one. How do we ethically navigate the transition from therapeutic to enhancement applications of neurotechnology and potential integration with AI systems, particularly in the context of AI safety and alignment efforts? Now, some of you have seen our maps before, but for this map, we used both our existing AI infrastructure and data to predict a spectrum of possible answers to the question, but then deployed our new agentic search tools to generate relevant keywords, and then search for relevant content, extract relevant quotes from that content, and then link those quotes and references to the predicted positions. Therefore, we are predicting out and then grounding the map's points and counterpoints. So here's one point. The transition from therapeutic to enhancement applications of neurotechnology should be approached cautiously, considering ethical implications and impact on human identity. Now, you can see here our quotes that indicate that this claim is being made in and about the field. And then next, our system predicts dozens of categories with likely contributions to that field. And so here's one from the category of neurofeedback techniques. Given that neurofeedback-induced neuroplastic changes can be long-lasting yet potentially unpredictable and unstable, applying these techniques beyond therapeutic context necessitates careful ethical consideration to avoid unintended alterations in brain function. And a counterpoint, you can see there's a few of them. One includes neurofeedback-induced changes are typically transient and self-regulated, not long-lasting or unpredictable, and there is a reversibility of effects when training is discontinued. So this section is not grounded in quotes because we simply haven't run that function yet. So take that with a grain of salt, as you should take everything with a grain of salt at this stage, because this mapping is still light in terms of logical rigor and structure and depth, but we're really excited about automating the search and retrieval of content, and we're working on the structuring. Even the initial identification of experts we reached out to was generated by a new system that we built. So there are many more of our methods that have been automated than I can possibly demo here easily. So I'm just showing you a graph. But please remember, the graphs are not our product. It's simply to inform intelligence products that can be in many more usable forms. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Society Library is a Spartan educational nonprofit building tools for thought, truth-seeking, and making sense of our civilization and all of its complexity. We're certainly not the only ones, and this is not the only approach. But your support for our approach is greatly appreciated, and your feedback is always welcome. Thanks.